Good evening. I'm Samael, and welcome to my den. Tonight we have a compilation of three stories: a haunted house, a Ouija board experience gone wrong, and the passing of a loved one. Scorpio Star 223. These are her stories.
This story actually happened to my mom, dad, and aunt back when they were living in Long Beach, Long Island, on a street called California Street. They all swore that house was haunted. In the broom closet, they found a tuxedo, and in the pocket was a phone number to a priest. My aunt said that in the middle of the night, you'd hear footsteps going up and down the stairs, then someone knocking on the door, but when you check, no one was there. My aunt's fiance at the time had a brother who came to visit. The second he stepped in, he ran straight out of the house screaming, "The devil is under the table." Now, my family is Catholic. One night, a glass flew off the wall and shattered into a million pieces. To this day, they believe that house was truly haunted. This one happened to me, my cousin, and two of our friends. We were hanging out one night in October. One of our friends, Crystal, was about to turn 18, and we had all these big plans to celebrate. Just being dumb kids, we decided to mess around with the Ouija board. We asked it, "What are we doing for Crystal's birthday?" The board responded, "Nothing." We just laughed it off. We already had plans for the weekend, especially for Columbus Day. We ended up going to a club in New York City. I stayed behind in the city afterward, but the rest of them went home. That night, they got into a horrible car accident. Crystal was thrown through the windshield. She needed 36 stitches in her mouth. She broke her ankle and her nose. After that, I never touched the Ouija board again. Those things are evil. You think you're talking to something harmless, but you never really know what's on the other side. Once, it even told my aunt she was going to get cancer. Sadly, she did, and she passed away. So if you're thinking about playing with the Ouija board, don't. I'm a medium. Apparently, I've had this gift since I was a baby. I know that might sound crazy to some people, but it's real. Here's something wild. I can describe what my parents' apartment looked like when I was just 2 years old. I even remember seeing shadows dancing along the walls. That image has stayed with me my entire life. Now for the main story. When I was 2, my mom passed away. She had just turned 28 that November. She died the following February from walking pneumonia. The night she passed, I didn't want to go home. I wanted to stay at my grandmother's house. My grandmother agreed and said she'd bring me back the next day, but my mom was acting strange that day. My two aunts said she kept saying, "If I die, I don't want his family raising my daughter." She made my aunts and my grandmother promise they would take care of me. That night, I went to sleep. At exactly 5 in the morning, I woke up screaming, "I want my mommy." 5 minutes later, my grandmother got the call no mother ever wants to receive. My father was on the phone telling her my mom had passed away in her sleep. No one told me what happened. I was just a baby. My grandmother couldn't bring herself to say the words. A month later, my aunt was helping me put on my shoes, and I looked at her and said, "Stop being sad. I know my mommy's in heaven. She doesn't want you to cry anymore. She's okay." I know these stories because years later, in 2014, that same aunt was diagnosed with cancer. just like the Ouija board had told her years before. She ended up in hospice, and while my grandmother was talking to the nurse about what happened to me as a kid, I had another experience, but that's another story. When my aunt passed, I saw so many signs and synchronicities, beautiful, powerful moments that only a medium could really understand.
What are your thoughts on her experiences? Comment them down below. And if you have a story you'd like me to narrate, DM me. Let's talk. Follow me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Thank you for watching. Take care.